watching from home. Welcome to the graduation of the Army National Guard Non-Career Recruiter Course, Class 19-003. I am Staff Sergeant Griffin from the Strength Maintenance Training Center, and it is my pleasure to serve as your Master of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party. Today's official party consists of Command Sergeant Major Eric Anderson, Mr. Ed Goff, Sergeant First Class Charlie Williams, Sergeant First Class Bradley Patty, Mr. Michael Smith, Mr. William Long, Sergeant First Class Robert Payton, Mr. Chris Burks, and Mr. Tim Smith. Please remain standing for the national anthem and an invocation by Sergeant Emily Hall.
Let us pray. Our Father God, how grateful we are for this long-awaited day. We thank you for the course that we have completed, for its successes, and for the strength you have provided to overcome its obstacles and failures. Thank you for the new insights and knowledge we have gained. Thank you for the dedicated teachers and mentors who have had the opportunity to instruct and mentor us over the past 5 weeks. The laughter, the camaraderie, the testing of our abilities, these are gifts for which we are so very thankful. As we reflect on all that we have learned and experienced, we ask that you continue to be present. In your humble name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Our guest speaker today is Command Sergeant Major Eric Anderson. Command Sergeant Major Eric Anderson currently serves as the Utah Army and Air National Guard as the Utah National Guard Senior Enlisted Leader. He was born on 9 February 1972 in Price, Utah. He enlisted in the Utah Army National Guard on 15 March 1989. Sergeant Major Anderson received his basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and followed on at the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, where he learned to speak Russian. He later went on to Fort Huachuca, Arizona, to advance individual training, where he received the MOS 35 Mike, Human Intelligence Collector. A short time later, he transferred to 35 Papa as a cryptologic linguist, He served in the 101st Military Intelligence Battalion, the 142nd Military Intelligence Battalion, the 300th Military Intelligence Brigade, and the 640th Regimental RTI. He deployed to Iraq from 2003 to 2004, serving in both operations Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. His duty positions include interrogator, section sergeant, training sergeant, platoon sergeant, cryptologic operations sergeant, battalion operations sergeant, first sergeant, 300th Military Intelligence Brigade operations sergeant major, command sergeant major of the 142nd Military Intelligence Battalion, command sergeant major of the 640th Regimental RTI, Utah Army National Guard G3 sergeant major, command sergeant major of the 300th Military Intelligence Brigade, Utah Army National Guard Land Component command sergeant major, and now he currently serves as the Utah Army and Air National Guard senior enlisted leader. His military and civilian education includes all the primary and non-commissioned officer courses, including basic non-commissioned officer course, advanced non-commissioned officer course, first sergeant course, and sergeant's major academy. He holds a Bachelor's of Science degree. Sergeant Major Anderson's awards and decorations include the Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the Utah Medal of Merit, the Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Iraqi Campaign Medal. He is also a recipient of the Knowlton Award and a member of the Honorary Order of St. Barbara. Sergeant Major Anderson has been married for 25 years to Britt Anderson. They have 4 children and currently reside in Utah. Sergeant Major.
I thought I cut that bio down. I need to cut a couple more paragraphs out of that. It's great to be here today with you this morning. First, before I get started, I want to sincerely thank the families and visitors that are here supporting the troops that are graduating today. This is a team sport, and none of this is done without the support of the family. So I sincerely thank you for that. I also want to take a brief minute and thank the instructors, the staff, cadre that put on this course. Having worked at an RTI, at a schoolhouse, I can tell you it takes an incredible amount of time and patience sometimes to put together a course like this and have it be successful. So thank you to the staff here. This, as I mentioned, it's an honor for me to be here today. I look at everything that's going on in our country right now. We live in incredibly crazy times. We've just spent the longest time ever fighting in a war with an enemy, while incredibly lethal and vicious, is technologically disadvantaged compared to the United States. When we look at the future of combat, we see the possibilities of facing a near-peer competitor with unrivaled technology. And so it kind of changes how we look at the future. Your role as a recruiter really hits at the most important aspect of preparing for combat, and that is readiness. The way I break readiness down, I break it into 5 little categories. And you guys affect 2 of those categories significantly. First category is strength. Second category is MOSQ. The third is professional military education completion. The third is medical readiness. And the fourth is retention. Obviously, we can't have a ready force if we don't have soldiers with in the units to prepare to go fight and win. And then when we look at retention really comes down to awesome, realistic training. And you guys also play a huge role in that. I'll tell you, the stronger the relationships, this is a people business, and the stronger the relationships you have with those units that you're recruiting for, and the more in place and embedded you are in the communities that you're recruiting in, the more efficient you will be as recruiters, and the more efficient you'll be at building readiness within the National Guard. As you move out and do new things for our organization, I want you to keep a couple things in mind, 3 different things. A quote I like by Carlos Castaneda said, "The basic difference between an ordinary man and a warrior is that a warrior takes everything as a challenge, while an ordinary man takes everything as a blessing or a curse." We know at the end of the day that all the challenges that we will face together are a challenge. And all of this takes a disciplined approach to work. I'm going to play a short 2.5-minute video, kind of element to expound on that a little bit. This, the guy talking is Jocko Willink. Many of you have heard his podcast or seen his videos.
It's so often the easy path that calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment, to give in to the desire and the short-term gratification. But the discipline will not allow that. The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. It won't accept weakness. It won't tolerate another breakdown. I always say that discipline is the root of all good qualities, but you have to absolutely apply it to things outside of just waking up early. It's everything. It's working out every day, making yourself stronger and faster and more flexible and healthier. It's about disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It's about having the discipline to control your ego so your ego doesn't get out of hand and control you. And doing the tasks that you don't necessarily want to do, but that you know will help you or help your team. It's about facing your fears. It takes discipline to face your fears so you can conquer them. And that's what discipline is. Discipline means taking the hard road, the uphill road, to do what's right for yourself and for other people. The discipline can seem like it's your worst enemy. But the reality is, discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can. And it'll put you on that path. The path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness. And most importantly, it'll put you on that path to freedom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're trusting you with a very important mission, and that's putting our nation's sons and daughters in uniform. We expect you to do it morally and ethically. And we do this via 3 methods, really. And is when I talk with soldiers who are in trouble, they'll oftentimes say, Sergeant Major, I was trying my best, or I was trying to do this, I was trying to do that. I've heard that so much, in fact, that I hate the word try. I would ask you today, right now, to replace the word try with work. Try means fail. And when you're working on something, it's progress, it's initiative, it's discipline. And so I would ask you right now to replace that word try with work. The second part of this is you have to actually put work in every day. Working towards accomplishing your mission day in, day out is the difference between style and lifestyle. People aren't physically fit that decide to work out 1 weekend a month. They're physically fit who live a lifestyle of physical fitness. They live it every day. The same thing goes with meeting your mission. Same thing goes with maintaining a professional appearance, maintaining your soldier skills, building and maintaining your combat readiness. This requires deliberate work and discipline on your part to do this. Third and final part of this is called occupying your space. For a lot of servant leaders, this is sometimes very difficult because they don't want to be in the spotlight. They don't want to step up and do what needs to be done because of fear of receiving credit or blame sometimes. What I would ask you to do today is make a commitment to yourselves to step up, move to the sound of gunfire, and lead. Take responsibility, step into this new role as a recruiter and make things happen. As I mentioned before, this is a people business. You need to get to know your unit members and, more importantly, get out in the community. Become a part of the community at all times. Be aware of your soldiers and your recruits and realize that they will take leadership and guidance and feedback from you. They will shape what they're doing based on what they see you doing. At all times, you should lead by personal example. Even though recruiting is very competitive, almost dog eat dog, I would ask you to be aware of each other. Look to your left, look to your right, surround yourself with a coalition of like-minded individuals who will help you, that will enable you to be successful in this mission. I would also ask you to take a step further than that and look at those who need assistance and devote the time and effort to mentor and bring these soldiers up, to increase their expertise and productivity. It's not just about you, it's about everyone. It's about completing the mission of the Utah Army National Guard. Thank you for your service today. Appreciate everything you do, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you for those words of encouragement, Command Sergeant Major Anderson. The instructors for 1st Platoon were Mr. Ed Goff and Sergeant First Class Darrell Gibson. At this time, Mr. Goff will address his platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
Morning, 1st Platoon.
Morning, sir.
So we've all had worked hard, we learned a lot, but we had fun while we were doing it. You need to take that mentality when you get out to the street. You gotta work hard, but still have fun while you're doing it. If you wanna be successful, there's two things you need to do. First, it's prospect. You gotta get out there and do work. After you've done that, do some more prospect. The second one is really, all of your NCOs already, those people you're sitting and talk to, they're not a number, they're people, and they are future soldiers. You have to take care of them. Just like any NCO would take care of his troops. You'll all be successful. And I would be remiss today if I didn't take this opportunity to wish Sergeant Blake a happy birthday. 1st Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Sergeant Acevedos. Specialist Atkins. Staff Sergeant Alder. Sergeant Alvarez. Sergeant Amaro. Sergeant Anderson. Staff Sergeant Anderson. Sergeant Aarons. Staff Sergeant Avery. Sergeant Barrett. Sergeant Barnett. Sergeant Beagle. Sergeant Bentley. Sergeant Benton. Sergeant Bergen. Sergeant Blake. Sergeant First Class Bora. Staff Sergeant Bowden. Staff Sergeant Bonaceda. Staff Sergeant Brocky. Sergeant Broken. Sergeant Boulan. The 1st Platoon Sergeant is Specialist Brown. Specialist Brown will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence. Specialist Brown will now address his platoon for the last time.
Alright, 1st Platoon, I promised that I would say less, so I wrote this down to make sure that I wouldn't keep it short. This has been a long but rewarding 5 weeks. I could not not have been more grateful to have been part of such a passionate, hardworking, motivated, and positive group of now recruiters. A quote by Jim Blunt personifies my view of recruiting. Without recruiters, there is no military. There is no freedom. There is no beacon on the hill. There is no American dream, everything we have, love, and hold dear. Our way of life, freedom to be, do, believe, and say anything we choose is because of you. First Platoon, go forth with excellence and recruit. Develop and train the next generation of soldiers, just as our recruiters did for us. Congratulations and good luck, everyone.
The instructors for 2nd Platoon were Sergeant First Class Charlie Williams and Mr. Mark Parker. At this time, Sergeant Williams will address the platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diploma.
Right. Good morning, Second. Good morning. So you're finally here. Been here with us for 5 weeks. Laughed together, cried together, got sick together. As I look around this room, I see a lot of experience in recruiting. It's time for you to take your stand with those that are already experienced in recruiting, do great things inside your state. Set the bar for others to follow. Always do great things, do what's right. It doesn't matter who's looking, right? And one more thing. If you ever find Tartar Ryan, let me know. 2nd Platoon, prepare. Graduate.
Sergeant Calvert. Staff Sergeant Caples. Sergeant Carrie Zales. Sergeant Sheriff. Staff Sergeant Clark. Sergeant Collier. Sergeant Conan. Sergeant Connolly. Sergeant Coulter. Sergeant Crane. Specialist Crowther. Sergeant Curry. Staff Sergeant Date. Staff Sergeant Davis. Sergeant Davison. Sergeant First Class Decker. Sergeant Delaney Teasing. Specialist Dexter. Sergeant Diaz Jr. Sergeant Drake. Staff Sergeant Smith. Sergeant Blankenship. The 2nd Platoon Sergeant is Corporal Crowell. Corporal Crowell will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence. Corporal Crowell will now address her platoon for the last time.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Corporal Crystal Crowell, and I'm an Army National Guard recruiter from Maine and the platoon sergeant for 2nd Platoon. On February 25th, 2019, 25 soldiers came together to begin a 5-week adventure. Day 1, we began by carrying a 30-pound weight down Sergeant Young Hall. At the time, we were told that this 30-pound weight was a high physical demands test. Later, I've come to realize it's more like the stress of this job. Recruiting Recruiting is not for everyone. There is a certain amount of pressure, stress, but above all, reward that only a select few have the honor of holding as a position. Today, that is to include my 23 classmates, fellow NCOs, and friends. In the last 5 weeks, we have been tested. We felt the pressure, and we have avoided the Reaper and his wrath of stealing souls. Today, I give you guys all one last challenge as we drive or fly to our home states. I want you to remember that feeling you had when you first put this uniform on, when you first looked in the mirror. The feeling you first got when someone said, "Thank you for your service," or even paid for your coffee. I want you to remember that pride. Last but not least, I want you to remember why you enlisted. No, not the reason you told your recruiter, but the real reason on why you wanted to become a soldier. Now, this is not where the challenge ends. The challenge is to never lose sight and to never forget. I have faith that each of the 23 recruiters in this platoon are going to do great things for the Army National Guard. They will take care of their soldiers, they will be the best leaders and recruiters the Army National Guard has to offer. Finally, to my platoon, each one of you guys will hold a special place in my heart. I know I will not forget any of you or the experiences we have gone through over the last 5 weeks. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Continue to do great things. Never let that 30-pound weight hold you back. Avoid the Reaper. Make sure you march to PT, not route step. And never forget where you come from. Finally, now let's go put people in the God.
The instructors for 3rd Platoon were Sergeant First Class Bradley Patty and Mr. Sean Edwards. At this time, Sergeant First Class Patty will address the platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
Good morning, 3rd Platoon.
Good morning.
All right, so my piece of advice for you is take care of your recruits. Serve your recruits. All right, if you serve your recruits, it will come full circle. They will bring referrals, and do it genuinely, okay? Be genuine about it. Do not sit here and focus solely on your mission, and that be your motivator. Let your motivator be serving your recruit. And as a reminder, I leave you with this. Every single time somebody says, thank you for your service, that should remind you how you're serving our country. You're serving our country by serving your recruits. Whoop. Whoop. 3rd Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Staff Sergeant Edgar. Sergeant Ellis. Staff Sergeant Enright. Sergeant Evans. Staff Sergeant Evans. Sergeant Fairfield. Sergeant Bell. Sergeant Fields. Sergeant Fisher. Sergeant Flanders. Sergeant Fletcher LaVoy. Sergeant Fortune. Sergeant Francis. Specialist Franco. Sergeant Franks. Staff Sergeant Golden. Sergeant Grooms. Sergeant Hardison. Sergeant Harris. Staff Sergeant Harder. Sergeant First Class Jewell. Staff Sergeant Konopelski. The 3rd Platoon Sergeant, Sergeant Ferris. Sergeant Ferris will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence. Sergeant Ferris will now address his platoon for the last time.
Morning. As we talked out in the hallway, guys, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, like we have in most of our classes. I don't talk a lot, but I don't have to. But I would like to pass off some information. Yesterday, I had the chance to speak with an NCO who's a pretty smart guy. And he gave me a piece of advice I'd like to push off to you guys as well. Always take the hard right over the easy left. Everything you do. Always take the hard right. I'm very proud of all you guys. I have never been in such a diverse class, from somebody from all the way from the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and even up to Alaska. You guys have my card. If you need anything, give me a call. Thank you.
The instructors for 4th Platoon were Mr. Michael Smith and Sergeant First Class Jonathan Webster. At this time, Mr. Smith will address his platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
Morning, 4th Platoon. Morning, sir. How you doing? All right. 5 weeks ago, you come in here. Over the last 5 weeks, you've done a lot of things. Exams, performance evals, presentations, briefings. You've learned a lot, right? I want you to take all that, put it in your rucksack, because you're going to move down range in your operational environment, all right? But you're not done learning. You're going to continue learning. You're going to keep putting things in your rucksack. Load that rucksack, tailor it to your mission, okay? Remember, you are the face of the guard in your community, and you're going to change people's lives, okay? Just like a recruiter changed yours, all right? So, on behalf of myself and Sergeant Webster, you've been a great platoon, and I think we have some uniform deficiencies, so let's prepare to correct that. 4th Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Sergeant First Class Hatfield. Staff Sergeant Morris. Sergeant Helms. Sergeant Hendrickson. Sergeant Hernandez. Staff Sergeant Hernandez. Sergeant Hildmeyer. Staff Sergeant Hirschman. Sergeant Hoban. Sergeant Hoff. Sergeant Hoffer. Sergeant Holmes. Sergeant Irwin. Sergeant James. Staff Sergeant Johnson Christopher. Sergeant Johnson Jacob. Sergeant Johnson Kyle. Staff Sergeant Johnson Timothy. Staff Sergeant Markley. Sergeant Kirby. Specialist Hume. Sergeant Lasea. Staff Sergeant Lakey. Staff Sergeant Lennon. The 4th platoon sergeant is Specialist Hay. Specialist Hay will also be receiving a certificate of excellence. Specialist Hay will address the platoon for the last time.
All right, 4th Platoon. Proud of us all. It's been a good 5 weeks. Let's go home.
The instructors for 5th Platoon were Mr. William Law and Mr. Theodis Riggins. At this time, Mr. Law will address the platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
You and us. Alright, so first week that we got here, right? Remember I was asking if you've ever heard of the starving artist, right? Two kinds of recruiters out there. There's the artist and then there's the scientist. The last 5 weeks we've gone over how to be the scientist in recruiting. Now you're going to be able to sprinkle your own art into it as you go along. You never abandon the science that you learned here. You've never heard of the starving scientist, but you've heard of the starving artist, right? Alright, so I want you to go out there, do unlimited prospecting, so you can write a lot of packages and get them on deck. 5th Platoon, prepare, graduate.
Staff Sergeant Levitsky. Staff Sergeant Lindsay. Sergeant First Class Blackguard. Sergeant Loosely. Sergeant Lopes. Staff Sergeant Lopez. Sergeant Lyman. Staff Sergeant Mariano. Staff Sergeant Massey. Staff Sergeant Matthews. Sergeant Maxey. Sergeant McGee. Staff Sergeant McGrath. Sergeant McQueen. Staff Sergeant Medford. Sergeant Mejia. Sergeant Miracle. Sergeant Meyer. Staff Sergeant Miller. Staff Sergeant Montfort. Sergeant Morrison. Sergeant Rowinski. Sergeant Nisus. Sergeant Stigers. The 5th platoon sergeant is Sergeant McCreary. Sergeant McCreary will also be receiving a certificate of excellence. Sergeant McCreary will now address the platoon for the last time.
5th Platoon, Mr. Ricketts and Mr. Laws, Law Dogs. You guys have done fantastic. We killed it this year. Excuse me, these 5 weeks. Well, we killed it here, so let's go out and do it for real. Thank you.
The instructors for 6th Platoon were Sergeant First Class Robert Payton and Mr. Travis Lamb. At this time, Sergeant First Class Payton will address his platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
All right, good morning. First off, I'd like to congratulate all the other platoons who made it through this challenging 5 weeks in 6. We started out strong, and we're finishing strong. I had about a 10 to 12 minute brief I was going to give, but based off the rubric at the time, but there are 2 things. We're about disenrolling. And as Blue Oyster Cult sang in '76, their one and only single hit, "Don't Fear the Reaper." 6th Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Sergeant Nelson. Specialist Newton. Sergeant Niehaus. Staff Sergeant Noneman. Staff Sergeant Overlot. Specialist Vicenza. Staff Sergeant Parker. Sergeant Parks. Sergeant Paul. Sergeant Pennington. Sergeant Perez. Sergeant Phillips. Staff Sergeant Ponder. Staff Sergeant Presno. Sergeant Price. Sergeant Rankin. Sergeant Rain. The 6th Platoon Sergeant is Staff Sergeant Ockler. Staff Sergeant Ockler will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence. Sergeant Ockler will now address his platoon for the last time.
All right, 6th Platoon convicts. 25 assigned, 18 present. We leaned on each other pretty hard in class. When you're out in the real world, do the same thing. Right? We all have each other's numbers. Right? Immediately after this, you and your first line leader meet me out back, bring water source.
The instructors for 7th Platoon were Mr. Chris Burks and Mr. Heath Strickland. At this time, Mr. Burks will address his platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
Good morning, 7th Platoon.
Good morning, sir.
So we've come to the finish line. And like I told you earlier in class, recruiting, much like this class, is a marathon. And you're going to have your peaks and your valleys. Hopefully your peaks, you have more peaks than you have valleys. You have to be motivated. You have to be energetic. But most importantly, you have to be resilient. Because this is a tough job to do. But you're all fully capable of doing it. We've given you a foundation that you can take back to your home station and that you can build upon. What you do with that foundation will determine your success. I wish you the best of luck and Godspeed. 7th Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Sergeant Reyes. Sergeant Rivard. Staff Sergeant Robertson. Sergeant Rogers. Specialist Brooks. Sergeant Ruiz. Sergeant Russell. Sergeant Sublime. Sergeant Santiago. Staff Sergeant Salville. Sergeant Schroeder. Sergeant Schultz. Sergeant Shepard. Sergeant Sittering. Sergeant Smith. Sergeant Staley. Specialist Steele. Sergeant Strucker. Specialist Sturts. Sergeant Sutton. Sergeant Tagawa. Staff Sergeant Terrence. Sergeant is Sergeant Rodriguez. Sergeant Rodriguez will also be receiving a certificate of excellence. And now Sergeant Rodriguez will address his platoon for the last time.
7th Platoon. Man, this was action-packed. This whole thing was action-packed. It was like the 7 plagues of Egypt. But we made it through. I wish you guys good luck. I love you all. You're my brothers and my sisters. Continue to do great things. And, man, get out of here.
The instructors for 8th Platoon were Mr. Tim Smith and Sergeant First Class Jessica Hauser. At this time, Mr. Smith will address his platoon for the last time. The awarding of the diplomas and badges will follow. Please hold your applause until all students have received their diplomas.
Good morning, 8th Platoon.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, I would like to say it has been an honor and a pleasure to be your instructor. You guys have learned a lot. I have learned a lot. It's a two-way street. This is what I want to impart upon you. It's the simple things that matter. Here at the schoolhouse, you learn the complexities, the intricacies. It's the simple things that matter. This is what I mean. Throughout 5 weeks, I've always asked this question. If every one of these students gets the same training as you, what makes you different from each individual? We give you the same excellent, outstanding training by outstanding instructors. What is the difference? And this is where it becomes simple. It's your individual determination, your dedication, and your motivation is what separates you from everyone else. As long as you remember that, as long as you take that with you, because in this business, it's a roller coaster. You have your ups and you have your downs. It's not always going to be you're going to be standing in front of someone receiving a certificate of achievement or an award. You may be down. So the last piece of the puzzle to the simple things is your resilience. Stay resilient. I promise you one thing at the beginning of day one. I said, I will give you 150% motivation, and you owe me how much?
100.
It's the simple things. With that being said, I wish you all the best. 8th Platoon, prepare to graduate.
Sergeant Robles. Sergeant Rowe. Staff Sergeant Terpsma. Staff Sergeant Thomas. Sergeant Thompson. Staff Sergeant Thornton. Sergeant Hurd. Sergeant Velasquez. Sergeant Wonky. Sergeant Warmbold. Sergeant Watson. Staff Sergeant Watson. Sergeant Welch. Sergeant Wheeler. Staff Sergeant Wheeler. Sergeant Whitaker. Sergeant Williams. Staff Sergeant Williams. Specialist Moynihan. Staff Sergeant Yates. Sergeant Young. Sergeant Zambori. The 8th Platoon Sergeant is Sergeant Williams. Sergeant Williams will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence. Sergeant Williams will now address his platoon for the last time.
What's going on, 8th Platoon? I'd like to take a second to say thank you to Mr. Smith. Thanks for everything you've done. 8th Platoon, can I get 2 claps? Ric Flair. Woo! Y'all stay classy.
At this time, we will recognize the soldier with the highest academic average, or as we call it, the Distinguished Honor Graduate. This class is Distinguished Honor Graduate, is Specialist Tony Steele, with an overall academic average of 97.56%. At this time, we will also recognize the soldier with the highest Army Physical Fitness Test score, or as we call it, the Iron Soldier Award. This class's Iron Soldier is Staff Sergeant Brittany Ponder with a total score of 299 points. The Student First Sergeant, or Sergeant Young Hall, is Sergeant Helms. Sergeant Helms will be receiving a Certificate of Excellence and address the class for the last time.
All right, good morning, Sergeant Young Hall. I know you're ready to go home, so I'll take my 10-minute speech and I'll condense it down to 30 seconds. Just want to say thank y'all for everything you've done. You've taught me a lot how to be a leader, especially being in charge of a lot of E7s here with a lot more service than me. Sergeant Hatfield, Sergeant Jewell, wherever you are. Pretty much take what you learn here and build upon it. Build your own custom home. Do the best thing you can do, and thank to the families back home watching. I know this job's gonna be tough on y'all, so thank y'all for everything you do, and text your team leaders when you go home.
The Student First Sergeant for Lexington Hall is Sergeant Lehman. Sergeant Lehman will also be receiving a Certificate of Excellence and address the class for the last time.
Ladies,
Gentlemen and distinguished guests, thank you for coming. My name is Sergeant Christopher Lyman, Student First Sergeant of SQI4, Class 19, TAC 003. Army leadership is defined as providing purpose, direction, and motivation. I was a young teenager with none of these things when I met my recruiter, Sergeant Ibrahimi. I spent all of my free time gallivanting around town, wasting my life, and getting into trouble. Like others, I had an idea of who I wanted to be, but I had no plan of how to get there. When Sergeant Ibrahimi showed up on that fateful day, he provided me with an opportunity, as well as the purpose, direction, and motivation to make it a reality. In less than a month of meeting him, I was on my way to basic combat training. I think the rest of you guys know the next part of the story. Thanks to Sergeant Ibrahimi, I've had new opportunities to lead, learn, and grow, both as a soldier and a person. I now have opportunities not only to provide leadership and guidance to the next generation of soldiers, but to help change their lives for the better in the Army National Guard. And so when you return home, don't make your goal to simply make mission. Endeavor to be a positive force in your community. Mentor the next generation to one day assume your role and represent the best of the National Guard, forge a bond between soldiers and the citizens that we serve. Finally, I challenge you to truly embody the NCO code, NCO creed, and to treat every day as an opportunity to change someone's life. Thank you, and congratulations to my fellow recruiting and retention NCOs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates will now have 5 minutes to choose someone to pin their newly awarded badge.
I'm gonna say this in Spanish. My wife, Marinelli, si están viendo, un besito, te bendiga. Send a message to you. Hey, you can send a live message. I did.
Sergeant Dixon, Oklahoma National Guard. We graduated of SQI4 19-003. I'd like to thank everybody who watched today, especially my family for reaching out. You guys have a great day. The wife was probably
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Class 19-003 Army National Guard Non-Career Recruiter Course graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the exit of the official party and the benediction given by Staff Sergeant Bowman.
Let us pray. Dear God, we come to you again this glorious morning to ask for your blessing on the men and women of this graduating class. As we continue this journey, please give us patience and understanding for our fellow comrades, wisdom in our decisions, and the fortitude necessary to be all that we can be. Please grant each of us graduates the ability to be resilient through the challenges that lie ahead. Help us to not compromise our integrity nor our moral courage. May we fearlessly rise to every occasion to lead and recruit with professionalism and honor. Bless us with passion. Bless us with humility. Bless us with a legacy. God bless America, we pray. Amen.
Class 19-003, you are dismissed!
soon.
Bye. Love you guys. See you soon.
PD, Pigpen.